Hello friends, how are you all doing? I am sure you must have tried to understand more in depth about our urban problems like transportation, traffic congestion as well as urban poverty. I am here again today with a new session on another critical urban problem which affects all of us directly or indirectly, and you have guessed it right. When we talk about challenges like sewage, waste disposal or availability of fresh pure drinking water on day-to-day basis, it affects all of our lives as urban dwellers. So this is what will be our discussion in coming few minutes. Let us try to explore new aspects of these issues. Friends, we are aware that sanitation is critical to human health and over few years has become a significant aspect of public health domain and good urban governance as well. The better governance, better facilities with these aspects. Sewage and waste disposal are significant aspects of urban sanitation, and interestingly, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development reaffirms United Nations commitment concerning the human right to clean water and improved sanitation facilities. In fact, safe drinking water is the most significant right of every human being. Let us now proceed with our discussion on sewerage and waste disposal, which is a major challenge in urban cities. It is a common sight in Indian cities to have open passages, canals carrying wastewater along the streets, which not only poses a threat to the health of the people living in those areas, but also poses a very unaesthetic picture. The open canals are clogged by solid waste material that is dumped in the streets, often have to be cleaned by hand by our health workers or municipal workers. But even if there is a sewerage system in most cities, the water is carried to nearby rivers or lakes and enters them without any treatment, what causes heavy pollution of these water bodies. The frothing in lakes, where lot of fog is created, especially in cities like Bengaluru, have become a common sight in other cities of India as well. The provision of adequate sanitation and garbage collection services to city residents is an increasingly important public health, livelihood and policy issue as well. The cities in developing countries are unable to adequately and also efficiently provide basic sanitation and garbage collection services. Access to improved sanitation facilities is though challenging. Even where such facilities are available, you are aware that they are poorly operated and maintained. This exposes the residents to serious human and environmental health risks. Inefficient waste disposal also leads to garbage crisis, where garbage ends up in open spaces in the streets and inside gutters, thus contributing to environmental pollution, flooding, breeding of rodent and insect vectors and spreading of diseases like chikungunya. The rapid urbanization has led to huge challenge of waste management, especially in urban areas. According to one of the estimates, over 377 million urban people live in 7,935 towns and cities and generates 62 million tons of municipal solid waste per annum. Only 43 million tons of the waste is collected, 11.9 million tons is treated and 31 million tons is dumped in landfill sites. Therefore, solid waste management is one among the basic essential services provided by municipal authorities in the country to keep urban centers clean. However, almost all municipal authorities deposit solid waste at a dump yard within or outside the city haphazardly. Experts believe that India is following a flawed system of waste disposal and management. And it is true to a great extent. 80% of water leaves homes as sewage. You are aware of this. A large quantity of water carries human excreta, which is indeed not the best use of water. The sewage disposal methods are alarming. While in India, only 33% of houses, according to our 2011 census, are connected to sewer systems, only around 38% use septic tanks. These septic tanks do not treat waste and have to be emptied periodically. Most of those who service septic tanks pump out the sludge from the tanks and empty into drains, fields, just about anywhere they find a space. The roots of the bad sanitation situation in India can be found in the colonial era, which was characterized by inequitable access to sanitation and the failure or disinterest to manage urban growth with subsequent spread of illegal settlements and slums. Yes, you have got it right, friends. Slums and haphazard settlements also contribute in this sewage problem, and almost every city in India will prove right what I am saying, including my own city, Hyderabad. But also, when we talk about independent India, it has not been able to improve the situation, especially for the poor, who often are not able to put enough pressure on governments and demand better living conditions. All humans, they produce waste of various types, for example, urine, feces, waste from washing and cooking, and solid waste produced at home and in workplaces, schools, hospitals, and other public buildings. All these wastes need to be controlled and managed for the benefit of people and the environment that they live in. In urban areas, where people live close together and space is very, very limited, managing this waste is a difficult problem. There is no spare land for dumping garbage. The existing ones are in a critical state. In fact, it is reported that almost 80% of the waste at Delhi landfill sites could be recycled, provided the civic bodies start allowing rag pickers to segregate waste at source and recycle it. According to Samir Lahiri, waste management rules in India are based on the principles of sustainable development, precaution, and the polluter pays. These principles mandate municipalities and commercial establishments to act in an environmentally accountable and responsible manner, restoring balance if their actions disrupt it. The increase in waste generation as a byproduct of economic development has led to various subordinate legislations for regulating the manner of disposal and dealing with generated waste are made under the umbrella law of Environment Protection Act 1986. When we talk about waste management, we all know that waste management is the collection, treatment and disposal of solid waste produced in home, workplace, public buildings, etc. So, efficient waste management requires proper segregation of waste at source and treating the waste through different streams of recycling and resource recovery. The final residue is then deposited scientifically in sanitary landfills. What are sanitary landfills? Sanitary landfills are the ultimate means of disposal for unutilized municipal solid waste from waste processing facilities and other types of inorganic waste that cannot be reused or recycled. Major limitation of this method is the costly transportation to far away landfill sites. There has been tremendous technological advancement for processing, treatment and disposal of solid wastes. Energy from waste, yes, you heard it right, energy from waste is a crucial element of solid waste management because it reduces the volume of waste from disposal, and also it helps in converting the waste into renewable energy and organic manure, which can be used for multiple purposes. However, friends, waste to energy plants in India is not operating to their full potential, and this is a major challenge. Installation of waste to compost and biomethanation plants would reduce the load of landfill sites. The biodegradable component of India's solid waste is currently estimated at a little over 50%. Biomethanation is a solution for processing biodegradable waste which is also remains underexploited. It is also believed that if we segregate biodegradable waste from the rest, it could reduce the challenges by half. E-waste components, nowadays we are using multiple electronic gadgets leading to lot of e-waste. So, e-waste components contain toxic materials and are non-biodegradable, which present both occupational as well as environmental health threats, including toxic smoke from recycling processes and leaching from e-waste in landfill into local water tables. The concept of common waste treatment is being widely promoted and accepted as it uses waste as a resource by either using it as a co-fuel or co-raw material in manufacturing processes. This has led to rise of public-private partnership models in waste management, which has opened wide doors for doing business in waste management. Biomedical Waste Management and Handling Rules 1998 prescribe that there should be a common biomedical waste treatment facility at every 150 kilometers in the country. These facilities have been set up and are functioning in cities and towns. However, establishment of functional facilities like this throughout the country must be ensured. This is the need of the hour. Integrated common hazardous waste management facilities combine secured landfill facility, solidification or stabilization of incineration to treat hazardous waste generated by various industrial units in the urban areas. They contribute about 97.8% of total landfill waste, which is a huge number, and 88% of total incinerable hazardous waste generated in the country as per an Environment Ministry report. These specific initiatives for waste management is very much helpful. Let us try to understand what are they. There is need to follow the principle of 4 R's. What are they? Reduce, reuse, recycle and recover. There is need to develop long-term vision in solid waste management and also make strategies as per the changing lifestyles. Efficient garbage management in cities to process waste and not landfill it, with adequate provisioning in processing and recycling. And friends, to do this, households and institutions, you and me, must segregate their waste at source so that it could be managed as a resource. So, it is a community responsibility, collective responsibility, and just not to be dumped on the municipal authorities. There is also need to have a compost pits which should be constructed in every locality to process organic waste. We need to encourage recycling of e-waste on a very large scale level for efficient e-waste disposal. And as I just told you, community participation has a direct bearing on efficient waste management. Now let us try to discuss about another critical element as well as a urban challenge with regard to drinking water. Jal hi jeevan hai. We all have heard this. Save a drop, save a life. We have heard so many such things, but it has very, very serious implications on a day-to-day basis. Friends, by 2025, 1.8 billion people will be living in countries or regions with absolute water scarcity, and 2/3 of the world's population could be living under water stressed conditions. This is not a simple statistics, very, very worrisome statistics, my dear friends, and probably that is why we are saying that save a drop and save a life. With the existing climate change scenario, almost half the world's population will be living in areas of high water stress by 2030, probably just few years from now, including between 75 million and 250 million people in Africa. In addition, water scarcity in some arid and semi-arid places will displace between 24 million and 700 million people. You must be thinking that I am joking. I am not. The need of the hour is to save a drop of water. According to a UN report, around 1.2 billion people, or almost 1/5 of the world's population, live in areas where water is physically scarce, and another 1.6 billion people, or nearly 1/4 of the world's population, face economic water shortage. They lack the basic access to water. The criticality of the water situation across the world has in fact given rise to speculations over water wars becoming a distinct possibility in the future. So my dear friends, we shouldn't be shocked if the Third World War could be for water, if not for oil. So we have to be very, very cautious on this front. In India, the problem is compounded given the rising population and urbanization. The Asian Development Bank has forecasted that by 2030, India will have a water deficit of 50%, and according to National Sample Survey, only 47% of urban households have individual water connections, and about 40 to 50% of water is reportedly lost in distribution systems due to various reasons. Further, as per 2011 census, only 32.7% of urban Indian households are connected to a piped sewerage system. And according to Composite Water Management Index of Niti Aayog, 75% of households do not have drinking water on premise, and about 84% rural households do not have piped water access. Water is not properly distributed where it is supplied through pipes. Mega cities like Delhi and Mumbai get more than the standard municipal water norm of 150 liters per capita per day, while others get 40 to 50. The World Health Organization prescribes 25 liters of water for one person a day to meet all basic hygiene and food needs. There are multiple reasons for India's water crisis. Nevertheless, it is often attributed to urbanization, industrialization, and human waste flowing into water sources and polluting groundwater. Friends, just a minute, as a personal note, I tell you, I personally feel that every individual casualness and letharginess has definitely contributed in this water crisis. Though very comfortably we say urbanization, industrialization, but every citizen who is wasting water, even a drop of water, is responsible for this water crisis. There are also other issues like privatization of water, which is a very, very serious matter, corruption at different levels that impact the drinking water issues. It is further estimated that water scarcity in India is expected to worsen as the overall population is expected to increase to 1.6 billion by 2050. As per UN water security refers to the capacity of a population to safeguard sustainable access to adequate quantities of and acceptable quality of water for supporting livelihoods. In 2016, the Committee on Restructuring the Central Water Commission (CWC) and the Central Groundwater Body (CGWB) stated very clearly in its report that if the current pattern of demand continues, about half of the demand for water will be unmet by 2030. And I think you all understand that it is a matter of grave concern that the water tables, the level below which the ground is saturated with water, are falling in most parts of India. Groundwater is polluted with minerals like fluorides, arsenic, mercury, uranium, leading to chronic waterborne diseases. Climate change poses fresh challenges as more extreme rates of rainfall and evaporation transpiration intensify the impacts of floods and droughts. More than 80% of India's drinking water and nearly 2/3 of irrigation needs is taken care by groundwater, and that is why maintaining groundwater levels is very important. Over the last 4 decades, if we see friends, around 84% of the total addition to irrigation has come from groundwater. Moreover, 60% of India's districts face groundwater over exploitation or serious quality issues. In fact, according to one of the estimates, 11% of the rural water supply is based on groundwater. When we talk about the sewage discharge, untreated discharge from industries and surface runoff of rainwater affects the quality of water in urban areas. The alarming condition of water quality is based on the fact that the lack of clean drinking water has put over 11.5 million people of India at a high risk of bone crippling disease called fluorosis. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has identified 19 states severely affected by high fluoride content in drinking water. About 239 million people across 153 districts in 21 states drink water that contains unacceptably high levels of arsenic. It is a matter of very serious concern. Arsenic contamination causes arsenocosis, a disease that affects the lungs, skin, kidneys and liver due to arsenic poisoning. The rising demand on water means rising pressure on water sources, especially in cities. There are several challenges with regard to distribution and water loss, such as water loss due to theft, pilferage, leaky pipes and faulty meter readings, which result in unequal and unregulated distribution of water. The pollution and contamination of drinking water is one of the major reasons of diarrhea in India, and almost 4 lakh children every year, primarily due to contaminated water, they get sick health. According to 2017 report, 630 million people in Southeast Asian countries, including India, use fecus contaminated drinking water source, and they become susceptible to a range of diseases. Industrial waste is also a major cause for water contamination, particularly antibiotic ingredients released into rivers and soils by the pharma companies. Water challenges can be addressed. It's not that it cannot be addressed. It can be addressed by a multi-pronged strategy. Some of them let us try to understand. Recycling and harvesting is one of the most sought strategies for water conservation, and this was also done in ancient India. Raw sewage water which is dumped into oceans damages the coastal ecosystem, which can be used as alternative to fresh water for industrial purposes. A significant percent of total fresh water withdrawal in India is for industrial use. The industrial demand for water is expected to grow at a rate of 4.2% per year till 2025. Much of this demand, my dear friends, can be met by recycling and treating sewage water. In Mumbai, for example, 3000 mld of sewage water is released, almost 80% of fresh water availability. This can be purified and utilized for industrial needs. An example of recycled sewage water being used for industrial purposes is 30 mld waste water treatment facility at Gandhinagar and Anjar in Gujarat, set up by Welspun India Limited. Another example is the proposal by Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation to recycle and reclaim sewage water treated at its existing facilities to meet the secondary purposes of both industries and residential complexes. In fact, friends, the residential complexes can similarly recycle and reuse their wastewater for secondary purposes such as gardening and rainwater harvesting from concrete surfaces. Using porous concrete can be used to supplement the rooftop rainwater harvesting to help replenish the groundwater. The community initiatives to supplement regular water supply is very important. Experts and water conservation activists suggest initiatives such as community water storage and decentralized treatment facilities, including elevated water towers or reservoirs, and water ATMs will help in saving drinking water. You must be wondering that what is this water ATM? We have heard about bank ATM. So it works on a similar principle, dear friends. As you go to ATM, put your card and take the cash, or you can also deposit your checks, other functions which ATM offers. In water ATM also, you will have a card which you can use to take fresh water, drinking water, though it is limited in quantity. So this experiment has proven to be very successful in different parts of India, and especially in the areas where there is serious water distress. Water ATM is a very, very good ray of hope, which also limits water usage, but at the same time ensures water supply to the required citizens. Water towers or elevated reservoirs with on-site filters can also help optimize the space available for water distribution in congested cities. Apart from this, water testing and purification is critical, and there are multiple ways for affordable and reliable multi-household water filter systems which are electricity free and easy to use. There are also household water testing kits, and the installation of water quality sensors on pipes that send out alerts on water contamination can create awareness of water contamination and drive suitable preventive steps. Mandatory compliance 2002, Bureau of Indian Standards for Water Quality should be made mandatory for local bodies. This is a very, very important step. This can make municipalities and other local bodies accountable. Use of technology and public awareness campaigns, tax incentives for water conservation and use of technology interfaces can also go a long way in addressing the water problem. Public-private partnership is the ray of hope, friends. The adoption of such kind of a public-private partnership model for water projects can be of great help in this regard. Some of the examples of water and sewerages partnerships what we see is Vishakhapatnam Industrial Water Supply Project in Andhra Pradesh, Adityapur Water Supply Phase 1 in Jharkhand. We also have Karnataka Urban Water Sector Improvement Project, Devas Industrial Water Supply Project in Madhya Pradesh, water supply augmentation at Khandwa, Madhya Pradesh, reuse of recycled water tertiary treatment water plant in Rajasthan, as well as 100 mld seawater desalination plant reverse osmosis in Chennai, Alandur sewage project Tamil Nadu, Tirupur water supply project in Tamil Nadu. Friends, you must be aware that even today there are several parts in India where water is being supplied through train. This is a matter of serious concern that in modern India the water is being supplied and there is no scope for fresh water. So, keeping all such scenarios in mind, there is a greater need to save water, and please do not think that okay, if I don't save water in my family nothing is going to happen to others. It's not like that. Every drop counts, and probably with saving of all these drops, every district, every city, every household will have fresh pure drinking water, and let us make this our national mission. Friends, we are at a very, very critical juncture with regard to drinking water challenges as well as waste management and disposal with regard to environmental issues. It's not that these are such problems which cannot be solved. Human spirit has always resolved the most critical problems, whether it was pandemic or COVID or any other challenges which mankind has faced. But at this point of time, what is required is a consolidated efforts by every citizen of this country. And I hope you will continue to spread awareness, make people feel more responsible, and we all will be responsible with regard to waste management, waste disposal, as well as in drinking water issues. So, if you have any new experiences on this, please feel free to share with me, and if you think that there are any green technology solutions which can help us, please do write to the concerned authorities, and you can also share it with me on my email ID pandevini@gmail.com. So, let us all be responsible citizens and more proactive citizens, and with our concentrated efforts every challenge can be met. I have that faith and confidence, and on the basis of this faith let me call it a day today. I will meet you again with another critical problem related with urban areas very soon. Till then, be happy, be safe, and let's save water. Thank you.